Good morning, this is Chris from ampmruns, and today we are going to be doing a 50-mile review and check-in on the Adidas Adios Pro 4. That name is a super mouthful, but the shoe is plain and simple, really fun. I love this shoe. If you've watched a lot of my recaps, especially last year, I'd say I've picked up a lot more pairs of shoes, so I have a lot more variety in a lot of my runs. But last year, for the first probably 4 or 5 weeks of those recaps, any kind of speed or long work, I was running in these shoes because I enjoy them and love them so much. So a couple specs straight off the bat. You know, Adidas loves to put their 39 mil stack right on the back here. I believe it is 33 in the front for a 6mm drop. We're coming in at just over 7 ounces in a US men's size 10. I'll go ahead and put up the weight on screen right now of what I measure. I believe it's around 7.6 for my men's size 10. It's just about 7 for the reference size of 9. It's pretty light. It's not a super light, like it's not in that next category of like the hyper shoes that are out right now, but it is competitive along with the Vaporflies and stuff like that. The Vaporfly 4 might have dipped down into the 6.5 range, but this offers a lot more cushion and plushness than I think those do, while still retaining a lot of that stripped back feel that you want from a super speedy tempo and marathon running shoe. The furthest mileage I've taken this up to is a half marathon. I adore running in this shoe. I love running in it for long periods of time. I'll talk a lot about the things I like, but I would like to start this off with the things I don't like, and for that I'll have to switch to the left shoe. I'll put in some better B-roll to talk about it, but it is a quality control sort of issue with this shoe. Most everything on here is perfect. The tongue is nice and thin without causing lace bite, which is really rare for me in a lot of these super thin strip back racing shoes. I had no problems with that, but what I did have a problem with was the heel padding here in the back. The shoe's a little bit hard to get your foot in and out of. It's kind of malleable in the back here, and there's an exposed stitch in the back that just kind of rubs on my left foot pretty bad up near the Achilles. It's not a sensation I have on the right side. It's like a stitch that's kind of loose, and after only 50 miles it's kind of frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. I just know when I take it out, a lot of the times I'll end up taping on my Achilles where that rubs, and I'll get some B-roll of where you can see the exposed little stitch. But it's just weird. It's a sensation I haven't had in any kind of other shoe. I've never had ones where the stitching is actually like physically rubbing on my foot. And then the other thing with this shoe, slight negative, if you're used to the Nike slap of their waffle outsoles, this has like a squishy squeak with this light traction on the bottom here. It is great rubber. It's like a synthetic rubber compound, this clear texture here. It is very grippy and it works really well in wet conditions. I've run through lots of wet concrete. I've run in the rain with these shoes and they held up like champs. Just know they are talkative. When you're walking around on like tile, anything like that, they are squeaky shoes, which is just funny. Probably wouldn't want to wear these walking around anyways because they're very fancy race day shoes. Underneath, they are running starting from kind of the bottom up, starting with that traction underneath. They have, instead of carbon plates in the Adidas shoes here, they have these fuel rods, which are carbon lined fuel rods that are meant to splay out like the bones of your foot. I don't want to say I don't notice a big difference of these versus carbon plates that are just solid all the way through, but truly I don't. I don't know if I don't strike in the right way to get the most out of them. I'm kind of a mid to 4-foot striker, or maybe I'm simply not fast enough to get the most out of that feeling, but I feel like most of the response and push that I'm getting is from the Lightstrike Pro foam that's in the middle here. I'm not getting a lot of that snap and pop. It might be all feeding together in a way that's just kind of meshing, so I'm not noticing it. But they don't positively or negatively impact the shoe to me. I do know a lot of people have issues with rods snapping and that becoming a big problem, but at 50 miles, mine show no signs. There's no weird creaks or pops or anything like that from mine. Up from those carbon fuel rods, we have the midsole here, which Adidas is very cagey about their Lightstrike Pro nomenclature and what compounds they're actually using in their foams. The Evo SL Lightstrike foam is completely different from this compound and from the Strung X2s that I have based on whatever shoe it's on. It's not the same kind of flexibility and compression across their whole lineup. Even though it keeps the same name, they all behave very differently. And this is my favorite version. It has a snap and pop. Like I said, I'm not sure how much the fuel rods are combining into that, but I love the pop and bounce from this shoe. It is like no other. When you really get in that groove and really start pushing your feet into the ground, you get this snap back. It's kind of hard to see, but it has this a wider base up here in the front, which kind of acts like a launch pad as you're hitting the ground and bouncing up. This really aggressive rocker acts as like a compression, like almost like a whoopee cushion. It's like an angled whoopee cushion. You're landing on it. It's trying to tell you to go land like this. And when you do, it's meeting you with this wonderfully wide foam section on either side here that just compresses and snaps back. So satisfying. If you are a heel striker, I would just absolutely avoid this shoe. It gets really thin through the midfoot and up to the heel. But man, if you are a mid to forefoot and you can kind of get up on your toes a little bit, you will definitely be rewarded. The snap and pop from these is so much fun, and the foam, it's only got 50 miles. For a race shoe, I know most probably target around the 150 to 200 miles of use, so I can't speak too much to how long it will hold this comfortably for, but I will say you can pick these shoes up on pretty good deals. I got a second pair for 120 bucks over the holidays. If you just keep an eye on Adidas' website, it was straight from them. They do frequent sales on these shoes, and they are a no-brainer if you want a fast, snappy race shoe. I don't think it's different than like an Alphafly 3. Like if you're trying to compare these side to side, it's different sensations for different runners and what you're targeting from your run. So a lot of the times recently I've been reaching for the Alphafly 3. I'm dealing with a slight knee and hip pain and injury. So I've been gravitating more towards those because they offer a lot more squish without the snap. It's a lot more like marshmallowy than the way this compresses and snaps back, if that makes sense. This feels more aggressive while also still being super squishy. It just feels like I need to be at a higher level of health and fitness to get the most out of it than say like the Alphafly 3, where you can rely a lot on the AirPod up at the front and kind of compressing that and the foam around it. A lot of the magic comes from slamming your foot into the ground and picking it back up as fast as you can, and this will just propel you forward. Like I said, if you can find this on a deal, this is a great steal. I love it. At 50 miles, you can see it has held up incredibly well. The upper is just, it's not very, you can kind of see the light coming through here, but you can't like see your socks or anything like any of the super cut back uppers. It almost feels like a Gore-Tex material. It is very solid and holds your foot in place. There's not a lot of sliding around, which is really nice. But it's breathable and it works pretty good. I had no issues with it getting hot when I was running in the summer months last year. And like I said, the tongue is nice and thin, but it's padded in the right areas, and it didn't bother me with any lace bite. Of course, Adidas laces are not the best, but we have the Light Lock technology, which is like a little ribbon that runs underneath and kind of keeps it a little bit more cinched down up at the top. And I didn't notice any problem with these slipping out, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people have issues. The laces are definitely of the same quality of other Adidas laces. If you switch them out for some sawtooth laces because you have issues, I think you'd be really happy with this shoe. So like I said, overall on a steal, I could not pass this up. Getting up a second pair. Like I said, I went and grabbed a second pair for 120 bucks because I love this shoe and I want to continue running in it. 50 miles, it's held up really well. I am curious to see how it will hold up around 150 to 200 miles. No complaints about anything except for that quality control of that little biting that I get from this exposed stitch on the heel here. Like I said, I quickly throw on a little piece of tape on my foot before I put my sock on, and that's no problem. I will say it did go through my thicker padded socks, so I did need that extra layer of preventative like runner's tape on there to really keep it from rubbing. But that might just be this pair. I might have gotten unlucky because like I said, my right foot has no issues like that. So for the Adidas Adios Pro 4, they should really compress that name for the next version. At 50 miles, I'm going to give this shoe a solid 9 out of 10. I love this shoe. It is a steal if you can get it on sale. It offers a different sensation and ride than any other super shoe that I've put on my feet. I've run in the SC Elite V5 from New Balance, the Alphafly 3, the Vaporfly 4, the Mizuno Hyperwarp now. I've run in On's Echo 3, and this is just a different sensation. It is so squishy and poppy. It won't protect your feet super hard like the Alphafly 3 or even the SC Elite V5. It is a bit more targeted, kind of closer towards the Hyperwarp from Mizuno, kind of more ground feel and pop. Like you really need to be in your tip-top run shape and really feeling like you want to push to get the most out of them. And they will happily go along with it. They'll happily give you all of the energy that you're putting into it right back. You just have to have that energy to get the most out of it. So yeah, I'm gonna give these 9 out of 10. Like I said, some people have reported problems with the fuel rods here. I do know that they reported that they were pretty good at replacing them, but obviously if you keep running into an issue with them breaking, it might not work for everyone, which is why I'm gonna set it at a 9. I've had no problems besides the bite up in the back, but I adore these shoes. I love them. I've got that second pair. I probably will pick up a third if I ever find a really good sale and these start to wear out a little more, but for now I'm going to keep running in them, take these to 150, 200 and beyond, and I'll let you guys know how they're doing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.